Every day feels like a life crisis. Really, not having money is so desperate. Oh, this society is really too realistic. I don't know which way to go in the future. I also regret being too picky when I was young, missing out on many excellent guys. Now others are getting married and having children. Thinking about this, my heart feels as painful as if cut by a knife.
So what is going on here? Well, this is another one of these videos about Chinese women not being wanted, about Chinese women not getting married, not wanting to marry the men that are available to them. The last video I did on this not that long ago was pretty popular, and I want to give you guys what you want. I want to make videos that you are interested in watching and give you information that you're interested in learning about. So I thought I would do another one of these, and there's even more that I could do because this is a pretty big topic in China. Now, before we get started, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed because YouTube does unsubscribe people. Thank you all for stopping by and supporting my work. I do appreciate the support that I do get. Even if you are hate watching my channel, I appreciate that too. So let's dive into this video and see what's going on here in China.
It feels too real. The heartfelt words of a 38-year-old unmarried woman in Guangdong are heartbreaking.
I was forced to go on a blind date again yesterday. Let me share my thoughts. I am a 38-year-old unmarried woman, still single and without a partner. I deeply regret not getting married earlier, not finding a husband sooner. I agree with those who think this way, but I realized it too late. Before turning 30, my expectations were unrealistic. Back then, I had no shortage of suitors and had several relationships, but I ended them for the smallest reasons and lacked a clear and complete understanding of myself.
There you go. It's all the women's fault. They're just admitting it. And I ran into this sort of stuff when I was dating too. It seems like women are trying to find any reason to end a relationship. Oh, the grass is always greener with this other guy. Oh, there's another guy around the corner who's going to be better to me. Oh, I ended this relationship to be with this guy. Well, that didn't work out with this guy, so I'm going to go back to the first guy. So ridiculous. Ladies, have integrity, get a moral code, and then live by that moral code. Hard to do, I know, especially when you got emotions involved.
Now, my requirements for blind dates are getting lower and lower. I can even consider a divorced man without children. I hope my sisters can
Wow. In China, being a divorced man is taboo, apparently. That's pretty harsh. If you get divorced, Chinese women don't want you.
recognize their own situation and get married early, really. After 30, there are far fewer opportunities. Some potential partners won't even consider meeting you if they hear your age. Some sisters say that after 30, women are more mature and sensible. Do you?
Gotta lower your standards. You gotta lower your standards. I mean, if she's a 38-year-old woman who can't get a date with a man who's like, I don't know, 40, 42, 39, okay, get with a man who's 55.
You believe that? It's just self-comfort. I don't dare to look at my photos from when I was 25, feeling foolish at that time. I was in my prime and could easily marry if I had been smarter. I wouldn't be in this situation now. Life is like a dream, and a year passes in the blink of an eye. Those who say they absolutely can't lower their standards after 30 and would rather not marry if it's not right, do you believe that? Your own worth has decreased. How can you not lower your standards? This is naive and unrealistic thinking. Men are still picky about you. Now, I'm under extreme pressure, sometimes crying for no reason at night. Now, when my parents see my situation, they just sigh. I feel helpless.
I like how she says she's crying for no reason at night. I'm crying for no reason. You're crying because you're lonely. You're crying because you missed an opportunity in life. You missed the opportunity to have a husband and then a family. 38, you got to get married now and have kids now, basically. You're looking at, I got to go out and just get pregnant. I bet that's highly frowned upon in China. I don't know, but I'm guessing you don't see a whole lot of single moms running around China.
My parents used to joke about getting a good deal while young. I found it inconceivable, thinking how can love and marriage be a transaction? But later, I realized it really is like that. Back then, I overrated myself and delayed too long. In 2005, I had a good relationship. The boy treated me well, and I liked him too. The only flaw was that his family's financial situation was average, and he couldn't afford a house at the time. My parents said, if you two feel good about each other, get married. We'll help with the down payment for the house. I didn't agree and broke up with him. At that time, housing prices weren't high, but I stubbornly believed that a man must have a house. Now thinking,
Yeah, man must have a house. Must have a house. I don't have a house. You wouldn't want to marry me, lady. Sorry. I'm not good enough for you because I don't own a house. Oh, that one thing. And hey, if you want to own a house, great. Good on you. I'm not passing judgment. I wouldn't mind owning a house. Should go out and buy one probably. But I was talking to a coworker of mine. He's about my age, a little bit older than me. And he recently owned a house for a few years. And he's like, it's no better. I'd rather just rent because when something goes wrong at my house, any kind of maintenance, any kind of upkeep, anything, I have to take care of it myself. It's all on me. I'd rather just rent and have somebody else do that. So there are pros and cons to each one. I mean, I think ultimately it's probably better just to own your own stuff. That way you can pass it on to your kids, or you can do whatever you want to do with it. But to each their own.
Looking back, why did I worry about those things? Sisters, really, after 30, your value depreciates. Even if you don't admit or resist it internally, it's a fact. Can you say your state at 35, whether in appearance or physical function, is better than at 25? Saying you are more mature and sensible is just self-comfort. You might not think you've depreciated, but society thinks so. Can you escape or refute this? I used to firmly believe that if I couldn't marry well, I wouldn't marry at all. But as I got older, I could only marry worse. Sisters, I'm a typical example. I've realized this now, but it's too late. I am about to collapse. I'm 38 years old. How can I compete with young girls? These years, I've lowered my standards again and again. Sometimes I even think about paying a college boy to get pregnant and become a single mother. I really like children and fear being lonely when I'm old.
All right, well, maybe being a single mom isn't as taboo as I thought it was. It's still like, even there are people who frown upon it here in the United States. It's not frowned upon openly typically, but I think you made a big mistake. I'll say it right now. I think that if you're a single mom and you chose to do that, like you chose to go out and get pregnant, or if you're just being irresponsible and got pregnant, you are being irresponsible. It's bad. Why would you do that? I understand if you got married, you had a kid, and you got divorced. That makes a lot more sense. I mean, you're trying to do the right thing. Things don't work out always. Choose better. So, I mean, you are responsible for that situation that you're in, which is not good. But it's so ridiculous that we sit here and we are just like, oh, single moms are great. They can do it all. No, stop. Why do you think the world's in the state that it's in?
Once I reach 40, even getting pregnant will be a problem. Sisters, I advise you to accept reality and not be misled by some girls' statements. Like not marrying if you can't marry well, or if marrying reduces your living standards, it's better not to marry. The older a girl gets, the more mature and sensible she becomes, and has more advantages. Only marrying if the man has a house and car, or living alone for life is fine too. Issues with in-laws, giving birth, doing housework, taking care of in-laws, and women being at a disadvantage. If you're 40, the possibility of marrying well is 0. At 35, you're basically in trouble with relationships. At 30, it starts to decline. This is my personal experience over the past few years.
These genuine thoughts are not unique to this older unmarried woman in Guangdong. Many other older single women have similar experiences and feelings. Although they may appear confident and glamorous on the surface, their inner monologues reveal the challenges and emotional struggles faced by women in similar situations. Allow me to introduce the heartfelt experiences of several other women, who, like the woman from Guangdong, have also navigated the complexities of remaining unmarried past the age of 30.
我39岁，没有结婚。
I am 39 years old, unmarried, and childless. I often reflect on.
Dang. Look at her. Okay, so she's probably wearing makeup. I mean, I'm guessing, but 39, she looks pretty damn good. How many 39-year-old American women do you see looking like this? None, right? This whole body positivity crap just needs to stop. And somebody recently was arguing with me, oh man, men will bang anything. So I tell girls not to even bother with looking good. I'm like, yeah, I don't bang anything. I do not. There are plenty of girls that I will be like, nope, get out of from me. I don't want to have you. Go away.
On whether it's a matter of fate or if I am just too picky. Sometimes, I can't even figure it out myself. Some men's comments are very harsh, and I don't understand why they are so narrow-minded. When I see their remarks online, I often can't sleep for days and nights. I know that being unmarried at 39 is not considered young. Having children at this age would be categorized as high-risk pregnancy. These are the real issues faced by older unmarried women. But that doesn't mean I need to marry someone decades older than me or directly become someone's grandmother. Some men make me feel like older single women aren't worthy of marriage, like unsold cabbage at a market. They think we are lucky if anyone is willing to take us. I don't understand. Isn't everyone imperfect? Just because older single women
You don't understand this. How you just said that you understood it. You just laid out the whole reason why you're a high-risk pregnancy. So you're not young. Like the men who can get you, that you want to get with, can get women younger than you. That's the problem. Your standards are not low enough. You have to understand, ladies, that if you are 39, you have to go, okay, look, I'm going to get with a guy who doesn't want to have kids. That's just the reality. So if I want to have kids, no, that's off the table. That's how it works. And then if you want to get with a guy who's going to be like tall and attractive, well, he can get girls younger than you, even if he doesn't want to have kids. You want to get with a guy who has money, well, he's going to have to be a lot older than you for him to be interested in you. It's just how it is.
have a few fewer advantages. Does that mean they should grow old alone in your eyes? Or should I follow your advice and find an elderly partner, or become someone's stepmother or grandmother? Am I really that unworthy? In fact, I'm just a bit older. I believe I can still have 2 or even 3 children. The news often reports women in their 50s and 60s having children. What's more, I'm only 39 this year. So, please don't look down on me or think I'm different. Actually, I'm still a young, unmarried, and childless woman. My body functions are the same as those of girls in their teens and 20s. I'm still that lovable girl.
No, they're not. I mean, your functions are still happening, yeah, but you're not as efficient. At 39, your body just doesn't work the same as it did when you were a teenager. That's just like ridiculous that you would say that. When you're like 18, 19, your body is amazing. You do things that you can't do at 39, not without pain.
It's just that I chose not to accept suitors in the past. So, I urge those men to open their eyes and see how outstanding.
Yeah, they weren't good enough for you. And now you want all those men who weren't good enough for you to come back to you. No, it doesn't work that way. Once a girl tosses you aside, like if you are not good enough for a woman at your worst, do not accept her at your best. Men, it's that simple. Like if you like, I've hit my wall, or I'm past my wall, I've made it, I'm at the top of the mountain, and now this girl wants me, that I'm better than I was before. No, screw you. You have to accept me at my worst. And you might be thinking, hey, well, what about accepting a girl at her worst? Yeah, but I mean, typically what a girl is like at her worst is pretty unacceptable. I mean, it's just getting the town bicycle, and who wants that?
This woman in front of you still is.
我想问大家一个问题，就是我长得是不是还行？
I want to ask everyone a question. Do I look okay, maybe even passable? Recently, my family relatives started introducing potential matches to me. One of them is a bald man, but they didn't mention this fact when introducing him.
Well, your eyes are slanted down to the outside, which is weird. Why do your eyes do that? That's strange. And then your camphor tilt on your eyebrows is not appealing. They're slanted down to the outside too. You have nice lips. Your nose looks strange. I mean, in this still frame here, I don't know what to tell you, but your nose looks strange. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just the way that the lighting is working in this still. But yeah, so no, your eyes are not very appealing at the very least. And we spend a lot of time looking at each other in the eyes. So maybe there's a lot of men who are like, yeah, she's not really what I want to look at all day long.
They only told me some hard facts, like he is 5 years older than me, owns multiple properties, has a car, a stable job, good income, and lives in a first-tier city. It sounds like these conditions wouldn't make it hard to get married, right? But this makes me feel a bit insecure, as I'm just an ordinary person. The matchmaker said that this man has no special requirements for the woman, as long as she is a good girl to live with. So we exchanged contact information. However, his social media had nothing on it. I said, "Can you send a photo?" He replied, "I don't have any photos on my phone." I said, "You can take one." He said, "I'll go out and take one for you tomorrow." I was a bit puzzled. Do you need to go out to take a photo? But I didn't think much of it. The next day, he did send a photo, but he was wearing a hat and a mask, showing only his eyes. I thought, since the photo is so mysterious, let's meet and see. After chatting for a week.
If you have to go through all that just to get a photograph, and yeah, the guy's ugly. It's that simple.
We decided to meet. When we met, he still wore a hat and walked in a somewhat feminine way. During the meal, he kept the hat on, and sweat was dripping down his face. I said, "If you're hot, you can take off your hat." He hesitated and then took it off. I saw that he was bald. He said he shaved his head because he had seborrheic alopecia, and the doctor said his hair would grow back in half a year. But I looked at his shiny scalp, with only a little black stubble on the sides, and his head shape was long and thin, which looked odd. I didn't say much, just saw sweat pouring down his forehead, unsure if it was due to nervousness or something else. During the meal, he even sprayed food into my dish. His mouth couldn't hold it in. I really wanted to get up and leave, but decided not to hurt his self-esteem and finished the meal reluctantly. It was the longest meal I had ever had.
Well, that sounds like that guy's like pretty low down on desirability due to some social behavior and the fact that he's not the most attractive man. I don't know what women like. Some women like bald men, but obviously this one doesn't, so.
Actually, I don't mean to discriminate against baldness. What I want to say is that this kind of thing needs to be informed in advance. If I don't mind, we can interact. But in the situation of being unaware, I feel I was not respected. Even though I am a 37-year-old older single woman with average conditions, I have the right to choose and cannot accept just anyone. If it were you, would you be angry?
我敢说，90后里面没有比我过得更惨的大龄剩女了。
I dare say, among those born in the 1990s, there's probably no older unmarried woman who has had a tougher time than me. When I was 25 years old, I had just been promoted to regional director at a publicly listed company. In the eyes of my friends, family, and colleagues, everything seemed to be going smoothly. I was practically a winner at life. However, soon after, I fell into severe depression. This setback cost me nearly 3 years of my youth. I didn't earn any money, and I lost my job. I spent all my savings and nearly went into debt. Many might wonder, what could have caused such depression at such a young age? The reasons are many and complex, but it all boils down to my first love. During that time, I couldn't sleep alone at night, often crying and losing hair, suffering from loss of appetite and suicidal thoughts. My health was on the brink of collapse. Ultimately, it was my mother who stayed by my side every day during that period, taking me around to relax and helping me emerge from the shadow of depression due to a long period of unemployment. I faced numerous rejections when trying to find work again. Eventually, I joined others in starting a business in Nanjing, putting all my heart and soul into work, just to make up for those lost 3 years. After 3 years of entrepreneurship, our company performed well. However, I tragically fell victim to betrayal by colleagues, left with nothing, and forced out. I realized I had been too naive about human nature. Now at 34 years old, I am still unmarried and childless, without a home or a car. I long to find a partner, yet I face rejection for my age. Is it a crime to be an older woman? My second venture has once again depleted all my savings. I face immense pressure every day, and many nights I struggle to breathe and sleep. What lies ahead for me? Do I even have a future?
特别的崩溃，特别的沮丧。
I feel utterly crushed and deeply discouraged. When others introduce prospective partners to me, upon learning that I am 36 years old this year, they refuse to even meet me directly. They reject me outright. I work hard, earn money diligently, and strive to improve myself. I exercise daily, control my weight, but at this age, I've come to realize that men simply don't care about these things. They don't care about your education, your income, or how you look. They only care.
Oh, we care about how you look. We don't care about your education or your income, really, because we know that we have to do that on our own. Now, the average man, I would say in America, does care about a woman's income. If he's going to marry a woman close to his age, he does care whether or not she's earning her own way. If he's older, I mean, obviously, if you're like 22 and you're killing it as a man, and you got some 22-year-old girl who's like, I make $10,000 a year, you're probably like, I don't care. You're hot, let's go. At 22, because, you know, you're already killing it, why do you care? But if you're an average dude who's like 35, you're going to be, and getting with a 33-year-old woman, you're going to be like, hey, can you pay your own bills? Because if we're going to have a long-term situation here, you're going to have to bring something to the table, because I can't support you. I'm only average. If you're above average in your earnings, then it's a different story, but...
care if you can still bear children. They care about your age. Because the outstanding men are either married early or only like girls in their 20s. They wouldn't even consider someone my age. I feel particularly lost and anxious. Should I continue to go on blind dates or just accept my fate? I really don't know what to do. I feel so anxious.
我问你处对象吗？
有点大。
我才91年的，我变大吗？
对。
我才91年。
So we can read this one here. I don't know if they're going to read it for us since I don't hear any voiceover going on. But the girl is saying, hello, handsome, can we date? And the boy says, I think you're a bit old. She doesn't look old to me, but I guess you can tell if you're immersed in the Chinese culture. What do you mean by saying I'm old? I was born in 91. Is that considered old to you? How old are you? Boy, I was born in 97. Yeah, you're way too old for him. What are you doing? Freaking cradle robber? Maybe he's a grave robber. I don't know.
91年有点大，97年的。
97年的。
年收入有点大呀，年收入有点少。我还
有家做。
She says, hey, handsome, I won't mind that you're younger. I think you, and the boy says, I think your annual income is a bit high. Mine isn't as high as yours. The girl says, I can take care of you. I also have a company that I dare not name. I'm afraid you might feel pressure. Boy, you're 158 centimeters tall, a bit short. Forget it. We're not suitable. Oh, wow. Why would you say a girl's too short at 158 centimeters? That's tall. What is that? That's like, I want to say that's about 5'3". That's not tall at all. That's not short at all either. That's probably average height for a Chinese girl.
任务快起来，看你压力。你小我2套房哪里来的？
身高158，相比较矮有点矮，就是158，
前段时间我去婚介所去报名。
All right, I'm not going to read through the rest of this here. You get the idea. I'll read this one, though. Recently, when I went to register at a matchmaking agency, many men said we'd rather find someone divorced with children than a 39-year-old unmarried woman. Wow. That's brutal. That's harsh. You know, I feel sorry for these women, but this is what happens when you expect women to go into the workforce. If you expect women to care for children, it's a different dynamic. They go in expecting that's what they're going to do. Now, you might get fewer women attending college, etc., and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to go to college to be a success in life. There's plenty of people out there who've dropped out of high school and been greatly successful. more successful than I am, and I spent a lot of time in college figuring out what I wanted to do. It wasn't that I didn't know what I wanted to do, I just didn't think I could do it. So what do you've been sold a bill of goods, ladies. If you want to get married and have kids, which a lot of American women are like, I don't want that anymore. They're moving away from that attitude. But if you want to get married when you're in your 30s, you have to face the reality that you're not going to get exactly what you want. You're going to have to go with a much older man, most likely. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Hey, older men need love too. Why would you think that an older man is not a good match for you? I mean, it's not like, I can understand if the guy's like decrepit and he can't do anything. Okay, that makes sense. But that could happen with a guy who just has some sort of disease or condition or is injured in a car accident, etc. You wouldn't want to marry that man either. But if a man is like 15 years older than you, you say you're 35 and he's 50, what's wrong with that? But of course, I come from, that's my family. My parents were 16 years apart. My grandparents were 11 years apart. So I've been with girls significantly younger than me. I've been with girls older than me too. So there's all sorts of different ways of making the world go round. Just because you have a big age difference and the man is significantly older than you, that might be what you have to deal with. I don't know what your prospects are like, but you gotta just realize that there are a limited number of people in the world. There are limited prospects in the world. The older you get, the greater limitation there is on who you're going to be able to get into a relationship with. That's just how it works, especially for women. Men seem to have a bit more leniency there because there's more women who will go out with older men or will get in relationships with older men. But still, options are limited for men too. Women will say, no, he's too old, I don't want to be with him. I've heard it said many times. So anyway, that's all I got for this time. I'm not going to go through this and read this to you. That's not what I want to do. I would rather have like them read the voiceover here. But I think it's just going to be more of the same. Like, hey, look, women can't find men to want to get with them because they're too old. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.